We're there? All right. Good evening, everybody. Meeting will come to order. Welcome, everybody, for being here tonight. Good to see y'all here. There are agendas located out on the table outside the meeting room. This is a public meeting for which public notice has been provided. The proceedings are being broadcast and recorded and can be viewed online on the City of Casper's YouTube channel. First, I'd like to read some informational statements about the meeting. Use of cellular telephones is not permitted, and such telephones shall be turned off or otherwise silenced during the Planning and Zoning meeting. When speaking to the Planning and Zoning Commission, please clearly state your name and address. Keep your remarks pertinent to the issue being considered by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Do not repeat the same statements that were made by a previous speaker. Speak to the Planning and Zoning Commission as you would like to be spoken to. Do not address applicants or other audience members directly. Make your comments at the podium and directed to the chairperson and Planning and Zoning Commission. I'd like to remind everyone present that the City of Casper Planning and Zoning Commission is a volunteer body composed of members of the Casper community and appointed by the Casper City Council. The commission acts as a quasi-judicial panel, making final decisions on some items and recommendation to the City Council on others as dictated by law. The commission may only consider evidence about any case as it relates to existing law. The commission cannot make or change planning or zoning laws, regulations, policies, or guidelines. We have most of us present. Commissioner Plotchek is still out of town. She'll be back next month. The next item on the agenda this evening is consideration of the minutes from the last Planning and Zoning Commission meeting held March 14th, 2024. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Anyone?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion we approve those minutes.
All right. We've got a motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? All right. Are there any abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye, cast your vote, and please record the vote.
All members voting aye, the motion carries.
Okay. Thank you. Next item on the agenda this evening are the scheduled public hearings. Before we get started, just a reminder to all this evening's applicants that it takes 4 affirmative votes to pass any item regardless of the number of commissioners present. If any applicants would like to postpone their case in anticipation of the possibility of more commissioners being present next month, then I would ask you to speak up when your case is announced. Case number 1. Excuse me. First public hearing tonight will be for consideration of case SUB 596-2024, a request for final plat approval for the proposed Wildcatter addition. The applicant is True Land and Realty LLC. Is the applicant or their representative present, and do you wish to proceed tonight? Okay. Can we please get staff's report at this time?
Absolutely. I just want to mention, Mr. Chairman, that when this originally went out for notice, it was called the Yellowstone edition, and it has since changed. I just wanted to clarify that for everybody. No, it's now being called the Wildcatter edition.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, application has been received for a vacation subdivision of lots 1 through 8, block 20, City of Casper edition to create the Wildcatter edition. The subject property is located generally southeast of the intersection of West Yellowstone Highway and South Oak Street and encompasses 1.6 acres more or less. Property is located within the redevelopment area known as the Old Yellowstone District. The proposed Wildcatter addition consists of 2 newly configured lots. Lot 1 is being proposed for the development of a multifamily residential project, which is currently being reviewed by the Old Yellowstone District Advisory Architectural Review Committee. There are no current plans for the development of proposed lot 2. The zoning does not have a minimum lot size or dimensional standards, therefore both lots as configured are acceptable. Staff did not include any recommended conditions of approval. However, should the Planning and Zoning Commission decide to include any conditions, they'll be forwarded to City Council for their consideration. As I mentioned, there were no conditions. I also had no public comments submitted, and I have 5 exhibits to enter. A is the application for a plat. B is the public notice letter sent to property owners within 300 feet. C, legal notice sent to the Star Tribune. D, photo of the public notice sign on the property. And E, memo to the chairperson and members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. That concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All righty. Thank you for the report. Exhibits are noted. Does anybody on the commission have any preliminary questions for staff?
I just have one. Is there any staff concern about traffic impact? If it's multifamily, because there's no lights at either end of that, and Midwest is already quite congested.
Chairman, great question. It is part of the site plan process, which won't come to you guys. There is a traffic study being conducted. So
All right, any other?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Planner, really, I wouldn't by there today, of course, been by there many times in my life. But we're actually going from Yellowstone or East Yellowstone all the way back to those lots go all the way back to Midwest.
this, if you can take a look at
Almost.
this map, the yellow outline.
Yeah, I want to know.
So there, it doesn't go all the way back to Midwest. It leaves one lot, but most of the block.
I just wanted to double check. Thank you.
All righty. Anybody else? You good,
And
Andrew?
the picture that you showed is the report, because right now it's under consideration by the OID.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Next, I would ask that the applicant and or their authorized representative come forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and explain your application to the commission, if you would, please.
Mr. Chairman, Planning Commission, I'm Sean Gustafson, ECS Engineers, 1607 CY Avenue, Suite 104. Excuse me, thank you for allowing us to bring this in front of you. I think Mr. Collins's report was pretty complete, and I'm happy to see a nice rendering of the building that we're working on there. You did bring up the traffic concerns. We will be signing that proposal. I have that in my email. I apologize. I just got back from a trip to the East Coast here. A business trip, but a trip to the East Coast. We'll get that all authorized tomorrow and get everybody running on that. So, and the reason that traffic is authorized is when you looked at the reason we're of course not against that study is because the trips came out to more than 75 in the peak hour, which, you know, just a preliminary look, and that automatically spurs a traffic study in just about every jurisdiction I've been in. So I guess, you know, with that, the reason for the change from the Yellowstone edition to the Wildcatter edition is the fact that there was another subdivision. I don't think it's still in play, but that was a very similar name to the Yellowstone edition. So working with the Trues, we came up with the Wildcatter edition. So I guess with that, as Craig said, we have I did see another set of another comment or two in my email, so we've got a couple more comments to take care of on the site plan and the architectural drawings, and then we'll finish that site plan and submit that. So I guess with that, I'd love to answer any questions that I can answer.
Okay. Commissioners, anyone have any questions for Sean?
Mr. Chairman, I was just kind of curious, Sean, how many units are in there?
There's 104 units in there.
How many?
104.
104.
And the parking, a lot of it is or almost half of it is indoor. You see the bottom brick part there that's got the windows. That's parking around the bottom except for the office area. And then there's parking going to be on the, I guess you'd say, on the east side of it also in an open lot. So we bought both indoor and outdoor parking lots.
Awesome. Anybody else? No? All right. Thanks, sir.
All right, well, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now's the time when we ask for members of the audience to come forward in either support or in opposition to this case. Please remember to state your name and address clearly in the microphone for the record. Is there anyone wishing to speak in support of this this case? Dang, tumbled up there. No? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to this case? Well, good. Get home for dinner early tonight. Seeing nobody else wishing to speak in either support or opposition to the case, the chair hereby closes the public comment portion of the public hearing and calls for a motion to either approve with conditions, deny, table, or postpone to a date certain, case SUB 596/2024.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Beamer moves to
Second.
approve, second by Commissioner Wingeter. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I just think it's gonna be a nice addition to that OYD district
I agree.
and for Casper in general.
Definitely need more apartments in Casper. Yeah. So, alrighty. There being no further discussion, then we will now vote on the motion, which is SUB 596/2024 to approve. Are there any abstentions or nay votes? Anybody voting A, please cast your vote. Count the vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion carries.
All right. All right, Sean, your application, their final plat has been approved. Would staff please advise the applicant of the next steps?
Absolutely. This needs to go on to, city council. It'll be by resolution, so one reading, so we'll have a, agreement to you shortly that will need to be executed before it gets placed on the agenda. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Case number 2 tonight will be for consideration of case SP 599/2024. Site plan review of the Natrona County Health Department building. The applicant is Natrona County. Is the applicant or the representative present, and do you wish to proceed?
Yep.
Will you please get staff's report on this at this time?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Natrona County has submitted a site plan for a 35,812 square foot health department facility located at 1017 South Conwell Street. The site encompasses approximately 8 acres and is zoned C2 general business. The proposed health department facility is listed as a permitted use by right in the C2 district. Although the property has frontage on both East 12th and South Conwell Streets, all access will be via 2 curb cuts off of Conwell. A traffic study has been initiated but has not yet been completed. Therefore, staff has included a recommended condition that requires the applicant to abide by all recommendations of the study. Notably, the site includes a bus stop with benches near the front entrance of the building, which was pre-approved by the city and transit operation. Public transportation will be provided by both fixed route and on-demand services. The proposed structure will be 1 story in height and oriented to the front facing South Conwell Street. Section 1712.080 of the municipal code requires a minimum of 109 parking spaces based on the type of use and the size of the structure. Site plan shows 165 spaces being provided. The site plan exceeds the city's required number of ADA parking spaces, with 4 located near the main entrance and 2 located at the south end of the building. Per Appendix B of Title 17, a minimum of 6% of the site must be landscaped, and the landscaping plan shows 47% have been provided. Stormwater is proposed to drain to a detention basin located at the northwest corner of the site before discharging via an existing 48-inch storm sewer that traverses the property. All exterior lighting on the site will utilize full cutoff fixtures to prevent off-site glare and light trespass. A direct pedestrian connection with ADA ramps has been provided from Conwell Street to the front entrance near the northern curb cut. The city standard screened trash enclosure is located northeast of the facility and is accessible to large collection vehicles. Parking lot landscaping islands have been provided at the ends of all rows of parking and mid-row at least every 15 spaces as required. A monument type sign is proposed near the south entrance off Conwell Street. As zoned, a maximum of 600 square feet of signage is allowed on the site. The site plan appears to meet or exceed all City of Casper design and construction requirements. Therefore, staff recommends approval with the condition noted on the traffic study. We've received no public comments, and I have 5 exhibits. A is the site plan application. B, public notice letter sent to property owners. C, legal notice sent to the Star Tribune. D, photo of the public notice sign on the property. And E, memo to the chairperson, members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. That concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Thank you for the report, and the exhibits are noted. Anyone on the commission have any preliminary questions for staff about the report? It's gonna be a good looking building. All right. Next, I would ask that the applicant and or their authorized representative come forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and explain your application to the commission. And do you understand the condition with the traffic study?
Yes, yeah,
Agree to
we're
that?
made aware of that.
Alright.
So, good evening, commissioners. My name is Justin Stearns with WLC Engineering and Surveying, and we 200 Pronghorn Street. We assisted the county with putting together this site plan for the new Natrona County Health Department building. And Craig summed it up pretty well on what we're planning to do here. So I'll just make myself available for any questions that you may have at this time.
All right. Thank you. Anybody have questions?
How soon are you expecting the actual construction of this thing?
They're actually out to bid right now for an early, to start the site work, an early package. The building is still under design at this time for the final building. That is anticipated to be completed in the middle to end of May for the design, but there will be some site work taking place
Yeah.
before then.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's gonna be quite a bit of dirt that you have to level out,
Yes.
so you evidently you're gonna have a maintaining wall.
Yes, there will be a retaining wall along the,
Retaining wall, is it
Yep.
gonna be blocked or?
it's gonna be the block wall, the large precast
Just
block.
curious.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
along most of the east property line with the Life Steps campus.
Anybody else have any more questions for Justin?
So from a pedestrian view, it looks like this is part of the cemetery. So are you taking out all of the existing fencing and everything that exists there? Make it, no, not this, what it looks like now. So is there a plan to demarcate
So
the cemetery? Because when you drive by it right now, it looks like all of this was set aside to be cemetery.
So yeah, the existing fencing, along Conwell and 12th, the portion along 12th will remain, which I believe is what we're looking at there. We will remove the portion along Conwell and are actually planning to repurpose that on the north side of, our property with the cemetery to create a boundary between, the
line
county
between-
health and the cemetery.
Okay.
So the cemetery will still be entirely encompassed with that same style of fencing.
Okay.
One other thing, did we do a study to see if we needed that for more grave sites, or how does that work? You guys, anybody looked into that? Is that what it, yeah,
I don't know if there was an actual study, Mr. Chairman, but I know the city, when we sold the Wolf Creek Cemetery overflow property, they said that they were seeing a lot more cremations and things like that, and we have way more space than we needed with the existing cemetery. So I assume when they sold us 8 acres, to the county, or gave them 8 acres, that they took that into account, but I wasn't part of that process.
There was discussion in city council about that. I happen to have been on council. So yeah, we talked about that.
How much, Mr. Chairman, if I may, how much is a building gonna cost? 30s? I heard 30, I've heard it's different, and I know there's always overruns, but what's the budget for that building now?
I'm not sure what the actual budget is. I know they're receiving bids now, like I said, for the site work.
Yeah,
I would anticipate, I believe preliminary estimates, we're 30.
yeah. I've heard all kinds of, I know and I know it's just going out to bid and all that now. So I was just wondering if you have any idea about how much.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the lots to the south, it says lot 1, says it's owned by the state of Wyoming, and then the lot 1, block 1, lot 2 owned by Natrona County. Is that getting cleaned up at all with the replat? You know? If you can go to the site plan itself, Greg. Right down on the south, right along East 12th Street. If you zoom in.
And on PowerPoint. So
You can still zoom in, Craig.
You wanna come show me?
Little plus button.
Yeah, I'm done. These ones, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and it looks like there was a platted alley that went through there at one point, and was that
We
not part of?
we recently did a rezone of those, if you remember, not too many months ago. I don't believe there's any plans to sell or incorporate those into the county property.
Okay,
And, yeah, of course, they did the replat not too long ago also, so
so those are just gonna stay dead lots.
right.
Thank you, Craig.
Mr. Chairman. I'm trying to figure out by these designs. Majority of the curb cuts are gonna be on Conwell or 12th Street. I can't,
They're all in common.
They're all in Conwell.
because 12th Street is so busy down. I was wondering.
Yeah, we don't need any more accidents on 12th Street.
I don't. Thank you.
All righty. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Now's the time when we ask for members of the audience to come forward in either support or in opposition. Is there anybody wishing to speak in support of this? Anybody in opposition? All right. Saying nobody wishing to speak in either support or opposition to this case, the chair hereby closes the public comment portion of the public hearing and calls for a motion to either approve with conditions, deny, table, or postpone to date certain, case SP 599/2024.
Move to approve.
We have a move to approve with the one condition of traffic study. And we have a second. Having an emotion in a second, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if I can ask, staff a question, is there any chance that the hospital's ever gonna push to have Collins closed off? Or not Collins, but, Conwell closed off there past the hospital or anything?
I haven't heard that.
No.
Maybe one of your commissioners in a previous life heard something.
Mr. Chairman, I've not heard that either. Obviously, with additional businesses, that would become more problematic for that to happen.
And residential.
You're right.
Okay. Any other discussion? Being no further discussion, we'll now vote on the motion, which is to approve with conditions SB 599/2024. Are there any abstentions or nay votes? Okay, all those voting yes, please record the vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion carried.
All right. So your application for final plat has been approved. Would staff please advise the applicant of their next steps?
So this is as far as it goes, doesn't need to go to council, so we'll have a site plan agreement drafted. And of course, we have to wait for the results of the traffic study before.
Looking forward to seeing it get built. Definitely need that building. All right. Next we go to special issues. There are none listed on the agenda for this month, so we will move on to communications. Chair calls for any communications from the commission. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. I have a question for the, so Heathrow Street, you know, in front of jump trays, you know, we all know how narrow it is. But they have 8, maybe even 10. They dug into the street and I mean, it just makes, yeah. Is there any plans? I know you're not the.
You don't like the waves? You don't like to do the wave as you drive?
Well,
We should let a neighbor.
I know you're not the street department, but have you?
I do happen to know about this one, Mr. Chairman. We went out there this week to do a preliminary inspection, and that was top of our list for getting taken care of. So I believe they're working on that here shortly.
So there is plans to reseal the whole street.
There is. Well, I don't know about resealing the whole street, but at least fixing the waves.
Mr. Chairman, we call that traffic calming.
Yeah.
The narrow street didn't work, so now we're trying the bumps.
Is there, besides jump trays on the other side, the south side, is there gonna be a restaurant? Or do you know?
It appears to be designed as one, but I think that they don't have a tenant yet, so.
Yeah, they got a
Leaving
tenant
signs up.
for a coffee shop, but they haven't found
Yeah.
anybody with a restaurant.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
4 little buildings
Yeah.
attached to it, but on the other side.
Oh, in
someone
the
told me
blank,
it's-
in the vacant lot area?
No, they hope to get a gas station there eventually, but, hooked onto the building, isn't there room for a restaurant? They said they hope to get a restaurant in
Yeah.
there. Is that just gonna be part of Jump Trays all in one, or is it gonna be a separate?
It's gonna be separate businesses.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, they're just gonna lease out the additional,
Built it
the
out.
wings.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Thank you.
certainly.
You know everything.
That's why I'm here. All right. Chair calls for communication from the council liaison.
Well, just to introduce myself, I'm Mike Blunt, I'm the city council, I'm the new liaison for the planning and zoning. Not much, I mean, this is my first time, so if there's anything you care for me to communicate to the council, I'm happy to do that. I found both of the cases you reviewed very interesting and nice additions, I think, to the community. One thing I would anticipate maybe from council about the apartment and you may have talked about this earlier, but I haven't heard this information yet, but we've heard talk about the Wildcatter, that subdivision, but I wasn't aware yet that there were apartments. Is there anything included in that apartment design that addresses either seniors or low income, pretty much straight? Are they rentals? Are they for sale? You guys, do you know?
Great.
What, Mr. Chairman, what we've been told is that they are market rate funds,
Like
so
condo type thing? Or
not for sale.
Rental.
Not,
rental.
they're rental.
Rental, but market rate, not subsidized tax credit.
Okay, so the owner will rent them.
Right.
as rental, okay, but no subsidized.
Right.
Okay. I just would anticipate that question coming. So I appreciate that. I was just, I was looking at that rendering of the health building and the county health building and I was in the cemetery not too long ago and if you've never been there, there's like antelope all over that.
And they walk through with it.
Oh, yeah. Well, and yesterday I was driving down Conwell, there was a herd of antelope, a herd going down the center of Conwell. And they went in very straight order and they made a right hand turn to go into the cemetery. And they were going around, going to make.
Going home.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, no,
Going home.
You to question what's gonna happen to the antelope.
That's right. No.
That's their commuter line. That's where we're gonna put a building.
Yeah.
Yes.
We could make that a new visit Casper
Yeah,
attraction.
Right? Yeah. Come see the antelope herd.
where they use those 2 lots that weren't replatted.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But anything you need to communicate, I'm happy to do that.
All right. Anybody have anything to send to council? Go ahead, Terry.
Well, I have a point of information. I don't know if it's the time to.
Okay, go ahead. We'll let you.
Well, if anybody happened to see 60 Minutes about 2 weeks ago, Casper got about 20 minutes of advertising on it. What happened is out at the fairgrounds, the Indian tribes across the United States had horse racing. And what they do, they jump off one horse and they take 3 steps and jump on another horse. And 60 Minutes was there and they had and they showed some of the camera, went back and forth. You could see the Casper Mountain and as they were interviewing some of the contestants, they had a sign of Casper behind there. And
Cool.
I don't know if it'd still be on YouTube after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be.
It was the last segment of 60 Minutes, not last Sunday night, the Sunday before that.
I have to watch that because those races are fascinating to watch.
Well, don't forget to, I know you're a busy man, but don't forget to, it's really something, really is. Well, I had goosebumps, because Casper, 20 minutes, and Casper more or less on 60 Minutes. No, Anyway,
Pretty cool.
I thought it was cool.
Alrighty. Chair calls for communications from the Historic Preservation Commission liaison. I wasn't there Monday. I was in the middle of taxes. I had planned on, I got to the door and my phone started ringing and that was the end of my day. So,
I didn't either, but I did talk to Tanya Chapella on Monday. So I agreed to work with her. If you look at the minutes that were put into our report, there's a big area of concern in that Red Butte area where a lot of, graves are being desecrated. And it's not well marked off. So one of the things that the commission is looking at is how can we adequately mark those off and protect them, because it is a sacred area, but unfortunately it's been trampled on and shot at, and it needs to be preserved.
absolutely.
That's she and I talked about, that's one of her biggest concerns and one of the projects that she's working on actively. So I agreed to work with her on that.
Awesome. Thank
Having
you.
lived in the South long enough, I know how to mark off Confederate graves, so it shouldn't be hard to do this.
Yeah, it should be. Yes. Well, cool. Glad you're gonna be helping her with that. All right, how about, OID liaison?
That,
Andrew, you,
Mr. Chairman, there was no meeting in March,
No
so.
party this month,
it
Andrew?
was canceled.
I know, I was like,
We didn't have one.
what is going on?
You had a string going.
I thought, man, I should have joined this years ago.
Yes.
Next month, this month, I mean, there'll be one later this month.
Okay, sounds good. Any communication from anybody else present? Wallace, nothing interesting today? All right. Well, then I guess the final item on the agenda for this evening is adjournment. Next meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission is currently scheduled for Thursday, May 9th at 6 p.m.
I moved to
Second.
adjourn.
Got a movement and a second. Any nay votes or abstentions? Then cast your vote, count the vote.
With all members voting aye, motion carries.
Let's go home. We're